Hey everyone, this is RoboJack. I decided I want to make another tutorial video, except this time I'm making it about how to get Cannonball in Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Now, Cannonball is the effect that you get when you go into a kinetic orb cannon, and what that is this thing. This is a kinetic orb cannon. You go in and it like shoots you somewhere. So when you're inside of one of those orb cannons, you get what is called Cannonball, or the Cannonball effect. What that means is that from the time you enter the cannon all the way until you hit the collision at the end, so like that thing right up there, you will have the Cannonball effect. Now, what the Cannonball effect does is that, first of all, it makes you invincible. Like when you're in Morph Ball, when you're being launched in the cannon. You are invincible until you hit that collision over there. And any enemy that goes in your way while you're being launched by the cannon will get destroyed instantly. You'll destroy it with your Morph Ball. So that's what Cannonball does. It gives you invincibility and allows you to insta-kill anything that you run into when you're being launched. Now, what it also gives you that you don't notice is that it gives you Boost Ball, which is kind of interesting, but when you have the Cannonball effect, from when you're launched there to when you hit that, you have Boost Ball. You just don't know it because you can't use it when you're being shot or when you're being launched, but you have Boost Ball for that duration, and you also are invincible to Dark World damage as well. So if you went in the Dark World, when you had the Cannonball effect, which you obviously can't do under normal circumstances, but if you, let's say you could, you would have invincibility. Like the dark atmosphere would not damage you. So I'm going to show you in this video how you can actually get the Cannonball effect and keep it for longer than just the duration of being shot by the cannon to hitting that wall over there. So you can actually keep it for basically as long as you want, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing you'll need to do is you'll need to find a room that has a Morph Ball cannon. It can't just be any room though, it has to be one. Here, as you can see, the map is a little bit different from the normal game because I'm playing with the room randomizer, so things are switched around. But basically what you have to do is find a room that has, like I said, a Morph Ball cannon in it, but also is situated in such a way that it, well, this is the hard part to explain. So the direction that the cannon launches you has to take you closer to the door of another room than the door that connects to the room that you're in. So in this case, the cannon will launch you all the way over to that thing. Now, if you look over there on the map, the place it launches you is actually closer to the door that connects to Central Aero Transport West than the door that connects Workers Path to Sanctuary Temple. So the reason you have to do that is because what you have to do to keep the Cannonball effect is you have to get the game to unload the room that you're in before you hit the collision up there. So, like I said, as soon as you get launched, you have Cannonball until you hit the collision right up there. But if you can unload the room that you're in before you hit the collision, you will keep the Cannonball effect. And so, the way you have to do that is you have to get the game to unload the room that you're in. It sounds complicated, but it's really not that hard in practice. So the first thing you have to do basically is you have to go out of bounds in, well, it doesn't have to be Sanctuary Temple like I said, but I'm just using that as an example because it's a good setup. If you go out of bounds and you transition to Workers Path, now transitioning means you pass the door that connects them, and then if you transition back to Sanctuary Temple, so the game will think you're in Sanctuary Temple, what you do after that is you go inbounds in Workers Path without transitioning to the room. So the game will think that you're in Sanctuary Temple, but you'll physically be inside of Workers Path. And when you do that, if you're inside of Workers Path physically, but you're not transitioned to it, so the game still thinks you're in Sanctuary Temple, you can enter the Morph Ball cannon in Workers Path, and it will launch you towards the corner of the room. And once you get close enough to the door that connects to Central Aero Transport West, the game will load Central Aero Transport West, and it will unload Workers Path simultaneously. Because the game will only, Echoes in its entirety only loads, I think it's 2 rooms at a time, sometimes more, but usually only 2 rooms at a time the game will have loaded. Usually it's the room that you're in and the room that you're closest to. So if you are transitioned to Sanctuary Temple, which in other words the game thinks you're in Sanctuary Temple, it'll have that room loaded, and then if you're physically in Workers Path, it'll have that room loaded as well, as long as you're close enough to the door that connects them. But as soon as you go far enough away from that door and go to another, or go close to another door, so in this case the door that connects to Central Area Transport West, as soon as you get close enough to that door, the game, like I said, it'll load Central Area Transport West and unload Workers Path at the exact same time. So now I'm going to show you how you actually do that. First thing, like I said, you have to go out of bounds. So I'm going to go out of bounds in Sanctuary Temple. There we go. Alright, so I just got myself out of bounds. Now I'm going to go to the top of the room, because that's the easiest way to do this. Alright, so now I'm at the top of the room. I'm going to walk all the way over to this door, the one that leads to Workers Path. I'm going to let myself fall onto the door. And so right now the game thinks that I'm in Sanctuary Temple because that's the last door I crossed was this door right here. I walked through it and the game transitioned me to Sanctuary Temple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk just a little bit to the right of that door and then jump. And see, now the game thinks I'm in Workers Path because I touched the door that connects to Workers Path. Because this is actually two doors right here. There's one on the left and then one on the right. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's actually two doors. So now if I jump back on the left door, it transitions me back to Sanctuary Temple. So now that's where I want to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inbounds into Workers Path. Now all I do is I'm going to jump on the Sanctuary Temple door. And then jump forward. Now there's collision right here, so I'm stuck unless I go in Morph Ball, bomb once, and then unmorph. Now sometimes it takes a little bit of doing to actually work, but it should drop you in bounds. There we go, just like that. So now the game thinks that I'm in Sanctuary Temple, but I'm physically in Workers Path. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in this Morph Ball cannon, and it's going to launch me over to that thing. But like I said, what it's going to do is that as I get launched in that direction, I'm going to get close enough to the door to Central Area Transport West that the game will load that room and unload Workers Path at the exact same time. And it'll all happen right before I hit the collision after being launched by the cannon. And so right when that happens, as soon as the room I'm in unloads, in other words, Workers Path unloads, like everything will disappear. As soon as that happens, I'm going to unmorph. Because otherwise, if I didn't do that, I would keep flying in Morph Ball, and I would fall into the infinite abyss that is below everything, like down there. So I'm going to unmorph as soon as the room unloads. See, it just disappeared, and right as it disappeared, I unmorphed. Now I'm in the ether, is what it's called, like the nothingness that's outside of the rooms. That's where I am right now. And what the game did was that it loaded Central Area Transport West and unloaded Workers Path at the same time. Now all I have to do is just go in bounds. So I'm going to go to this door, fall onto it. I'm going to jump once to transition to this room, and then I'm going to go back in bounds by doing the same thing I did in Workers Path, where I bomb, then unmorph. There we go. I'm in bounds. I'm going to touch the door to transition myself back. Alright, so now I'm transitioned and physically in Sanctuary Temple. So now, if I go in Morph Ball, I now have Boost Ball. And this guy can't hurt me because I have invincibility. The things bounce off. So I have the Cannonball effect right now. Like I said, it gives you Boost Ball, it makes you invincible in Morph Ball mode, and it also makes you be able to insta-kill certain enemies while you're in Morph Ball. And I'll actually show that right now as well. I'm going to warp myself to a room that has enemies that I can kill. You can't kill all types of enemies when you're in Morph Ball, when you have the Cannonball effect. Only certain ones you can kill. Res bits you can kill with Cannonball. Those quad guys you can kill. There's certain ones you can kill and other ones you can't. It depends. But watch, I'm gonna go up to one of these quad guys, and his head's gonna explode because I'm gonna touch him, and I have the insta-kill effect on me because I have Cannonball. So watch his head as I go near him. See, All I had to do is just get close enough, and I insta-killed his head, and it exploded. Now also, he's going to whack me, and it's not going to deal any damage, because Cannonball makes you invincible in Morph Ball. In Morph Ball mode, like I said. So I can touch him all I want, and he's not going to damage me. Now the last effect that Cannonball, like I said, it also gives you Boost Ball, but the other effect that it gives you is invulnerability to the Dark World atmosphere. And I will demonstrate that now as well. Alright, so I'm taking damage in my unmorphed form, but as soon as I morph, watch my health. See, my health is not going down anymore. It still plays the sound effect as if I'm taking damage, but I'm not actually taking damage. Now I can go anywhere I want in the Dark World in Morph Ball and not take any damage. These guys can't hurt me when I touch them. And I have Boost Ball. So lots of effects you get from Cannonball. Now, you will lose Cannonball if you do one of two things. You either enter another Morph Ball cannon or Kinetic Orb cannon, or you die. If either of those two things happens, you will lose Cannonball. So yeah, that's pretty much the way to do it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section, and thank you for watching.